was waiting for my gin to settle.
Oh,
I'm just playing. Welcome to another edition of Parked and Unfiltered, where the wheels stop and the conversation keeps rolling as he pops open a beer. So today I'm here with another comedian, an entrepreneur. I can't say entrepreneur. I'm entrepreneur Negro. Entrepreneur Chicano, Mr. John Ponciano. Did I say that right?
That's
See?
right, bro. Ponciano, John, Jonathan, whatever people want to call me.
I'm not calling you Jonathan.
It's all good. John works too, bro.
I'll call you Jonathan. It's like when you get in trouble, Jonathan.
Yes, mother.
Yes, mother. It's like Robert. Yes, mother. Man, my mom already called me Robert. I'm heading for the hills.
Oh yeah, when they use your full name.
Oh man.
Yeah.
For legal reasons, I'm not going to say my full name on this podcast because y'all are not coming after me, bitch. But man, I know you be a little bit up to everything. So I know what I want to talk about because we've talked about it before, and the subject came up with somebody else, not in the interviews, but so I'm really interested in your psychedelicness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Because I know you was doing, like, a lot of people, I don't know, y'all might not know. Some of y'all probably do know. You was doing some psychedelic shows. Tell us about that.
I've ventured in psychedelic events.
Yes.
They're more than just a show. And a show normally lasts about a comedy show normally lasts about an hour and a half, 2 hours. If you're really stretching it. And a psychedelic trip lasts you at least 6 hours. So, there's a lot of time there you could take advantage of and really introduce people to a magical state of consciousness, a state of mind, and not that's not even bringing up the healing that happens when people take psychedelics. Whether you had a bad trip, right, as they call it, or you haven't, whether you realize it or not, you're healing every time you do psychedelics.
So basically, what you're telling me is I can take some mushrooms right now, and if I take enough of them, I can walk.
Well, I mean, it's not that type of healing. It's more
Oh.
of a emotional, mental.
Disclaimer: no, you ain't about to walk. Hey,
Yeah, I ain't claiming to be Jesus, bro.
what if I took a mushroom and then started walking? That'd be some shit. Y'all would probably trip out and be like, man, it's some bad shit, man.
Repo's possessed. Run.
He still can't flick his wrist, but he can walk.
It's one thing about psychedelics that I've learned through my journey is that whatever you're feeling, whether it's joy, worry, uh, aggravation, whatever, whenever you do psychedelics, you just like times tens it. And the beauty about the medicine is that it makes you question everything. Like, why do I feel this way? Where did this feeling come from? Where, especially after you get to the process where you understand your feelings and you don't try to fight them. You just accept what is. And then you go into the whole process of understanding what is, why it is, and how can we get control of this animal that's inside of me, whether it's rage, whether it's addiction, whatever it may be. And we're able to, because when as humans, we want to change something. Oh, I want to stop gambling, or I want to stop drinking, or whatever it may be, right? Whatever vice we have. In reality, we can't stop. We could only replace it with something else, right? But that comes with understanding.
Yeah, manipulate the situation, so to speak.
Trick your mind or whatnot. Like, for example, let's say something basic that we all go through as human beings. We all go through low self-esteem at some point in our life.
Some point, yeah.
Where, oh man, this girl, she laughed at me when I try to say hi. So now I feel weird about approaching other females, or those type of mind fucks that we have. And with psychedelics, we I've learned to really understand those and be more like, okay, this is how I felt, this is why I felt this way, this and that. How can I replace that? How can I replace that feeling of me feeling worthless because so and so laughed at me in my face when I was being genuine,
Yeah.
to, oh, you know what? Maybe these certain types of people are not the people I need to be hanging out around, right? Maybe my approach was different. Maybe, whatever we go through in our heads. Um, Now, instead of focusing on this low energy of low self esteem, we could focus on, okay, we know this is real, we accept it now. How can we get here? And then with psychedelics, you could talk to yourself in that realm where,
You
well, you
you
could
meet
do it
yourself.
you could do it anywhere, right?
You
You could
kind of
go.
meet yourself halfway from your physical being, saying, because we try to fight our feelings.
Correct.
We try to fight our
Yep.
feelings. But what you're saying in psychedelic is more of a spiritual. Your spiritual is meeting your terrestrial body, so to speak. So it's like you're on your outside. You're saying, I hate this about myself, whatever. And then when you're on psychedelics, you're like, okay, why do I feel like that? I feel like that's because. And then it comes and then you meet yourself on the level, on a plane. Am I understanding that correct?
Or you could talk to yourself in that level,
Yeah, yeah. What? Yeah,
where
yeah. That's
where
what I'm saying.
yeah, you I guess you could say you can meet yourself in that level. You talk to yourself in that level to where you're more open to receiving and more open to, okay, everything, like when you're on psychedelics, especially like your very first like spiritual trip, you're just like, fuck, everything everyone told me, everything I was raised believing is bullshit. Like, it's all irrelevant. All these people that I want to impress is bullshit. All these people that I feel some certain way because I didn't do nothing, but they just don't like me for whatever their reason is, but it makes me feel some negative way about myself. It's irrelevant. Once you get to that point, you can start building from there to where, oh shit, everything that I thought I had to do as a human being, everything I thought I needed to be, I needed to dress, I needed to talk, I needed to drive, I needed to own, it's all bullshit because that's all these other people's dreams. That's not really what I want. My true happiness, my true feelings. Um, which with psychedelics, it helps you get and surpass those points, those roadblocks that we have. Because you know, we always wake up in the morning and we look ourselves in the mirror and we have a certain conversation. The person that you have a conversation with the most throughout the day is yourself. So we've been taught and brought up to think negative. Our auto suggestions, our auto talk, our inner dialogue is always negative. You're never good enough. Oh, you fucked this up. Or just like you fucked that up, you're gonna fuck this up. You're not fast enough. You don't have enough this. You don't do enough of that. Um, and we start feeling a certain negative way because we're not keeping up with the Joneses, right? But
Hold on, just for a second. For those of y'all that don't know what keeping up with the Joneses mean, because some of y'all are gonna be a little bit younger, that means you're not gonna have the same. You're trying to have the same swagger or same style as somebody else just because they have money. That's what keeping up with the Joneses is. So we're not. What we're saying is we were taught, not taught, but some way implemented in our brains that we have to have what somebody else has, and we have to have it better.
oh,
So not keeping up with Joneses means keeping to yourself and realizing your own self worth and what your value is.
and to add to that, um, a lot of us, like keeping up with the Joneses, a lot of us think we need to go to college to have a better life. We need to get straight A's to be a better person. We need to attend church to maximize and be the greatest person alive. And these are just programs that we are set with from a young age, right? The people that we love, the people that we trust, the people we believe in, and they're our leaders, and we're their followers. That's what they tell us. In order to be a good person, you got to do this. Bad people do that. Blah blah blah. Now, keeping up with the Joneses, I see a lot of people keeping up with the Joneses means I need to have that big house. I need to have 3, 4 cars in my driveway. I need to have all this flashy stuff, which, just through my whole psychedelic journey and stuff, growing up, I didn't understand the people that like alone in a farm in the boonies where they got no phone receptions and all that. Like now I'm like, man,
Well,
that's
back then, none of us had phone receptions because we the same age. We didn't have cell phones.
but we had neighbors. We lived in the city. Like we had all the noise, all the light pollution, all the noise pollution.
Well, I was in Texas. I have
all the stuff around us. But when you get out to like someone that lives way out there, like in the boonies, they like even if people want to bother you, your phone don't work.
Yep.
Like
they do this shit on
they're
purpose.
chopping wood with hands, and they're happier than people that live here in Scottsdale
and live long,
right? With all following the Joneses, and so it's like, okay, is it worth it following the Joneses? Now, if that's the life that you want, do your thing. However, to me, I've learned getting away from people, and I'm not one of those I hate people, fuck people. No, I love people. I love interacting and all. However, I do get tired where I need to go camping for a week. Yeah. Like in the middle of nowhere, bro, with trees and like, camping tent and the whole, camping experience where I just go relax and I always feel I'm recharged.
Go out there like a thug with no bug spray. Let them motherfuckers bite me. Look, if a mosquito bite me right now, alcohol poison.
Bro, the funny thing, I don't use bug spray. I let them fucking just, bite me, or I'll wear like long sleeves, like prevent shit like that. But yeah, I don't like bug spray. But, the whole part of nature is that with psychedelics, because this all comes back to psychedelics, is that we are all one. We are part of it. We need each other. Like we really, really vibe and survive and thrive off of each other. And you being in the woods, coming to the city, interacting with all these people, and interacting with like city people and interacting with people that live, let's say, like out in the reservations in the middle of nowhere, where they don't have as many resources as we have. But they seem to be twice as happier than we are. Yeah. They seem to live the life and thrive, health wise, and there's certain stuff going on in certain communities and stuff, but they just seem to just have a happier life.
There's no programming. There's no, because we've already been, like you said, it's to a very good point. Growing up, we're already programmed. We're programmed, like you said, by our leaders, the people we looked up to, and looked up to, and depending on situations, we're already predisposed. We already have a predisposition to be who we are. And a lot of times when I lost my train of thought because I'm thinking about some of the stuff you said earlier. Like, for real, you said a lot of stuff.
Our programming, you were talking about our programming and how we believe what people that we love and we respect.
Oh, yeah. When people go out to ADHD, forgive me, folks, I do have ADHD, and a lot of times I will switch subjects, but I'm trying to stay on topic. But yeah, people that live out and have, I'm not going to say have less, that deal with less, they deal with less, like literally deal with less. The stuff that we have around us, advertisements, TV, social media, we're being even more programmed because now we have mainstream media programming us to be unhappy. They're teaching us to be unhappy. And so, look, we're talking about all kind of shit. Y'all better pay attention. Like a lot of stuff that goes on that we look at every day is actually programming us to deprogram us to be back to where we was when we was little, knowing nothing. But now, like you said, with psychedelics, I don't know, but it sounds very interesting. I
Let me
may
know when you're ready, brother.
I may or may not divulge soon into the psychedelics. But and I'll talk about that a little bit later too. But it's funny some of the things you're saying. But I do think, and I've always thought, and I've always done it like you said. I've always deprogrammed myself where I'll go to a hotel room for like a week. I didn't used to. Well, actually, I used to. There's some woods by my house. I used to escape to those woods, but my mom used to find out where I was at, so I had to hide somewhere else. So I would go to like a hotel room, just disappear. Like I wouldn't even tell people where I at, and like even up when I got into this wreck, I didn't tell nobody where I was at for a week. Of course, I didn't know where I was at for at least 3 days of that, but I just didn't want to have no outside interference. We take in a lot of outside interference, and even now as an adult, and I know who I am, and I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm going through. I can get on social media and automatically just become deprogrammed. Like before a show, before I get on stage, I don't look at social media because I don't want to fall back in that trap. That's one of those things where I will hide away for. Like if I have a big show, I will hide away for like that day. Don't talk to me. Like so I feel you on that, and that's interesting. A lot of things you're talking about is a lot of things I used to do when I was a kid, and I feel like I need to get back to doing that.
Well,
In other words, I'm going to do some psychedelics.
the first step of change, anything you want to change in your life, around you, or whatever, the first step of it is awareness.
Yep.
You have to be aware.
Already.
You have to be aware. Hey, this is where I'm at. This is why I'm getting the results I'm getting. I don't like it, or I like it, or whatever, But obviously, if you want to change it, you're not liking it. So you're like,
already.
I don't like it. So what can I start doing to change that? But being aware, and a lot of a lot of people use psychedelics for that, to become aware, to become like, oh shit, yeah, I'm doing these for the wrong reasons. I may be good at whatever I'm doing, but I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. So
Yeah.
I may want to stop, or I may, whatever their situation may be. But with psychedelics, we're in a very amazing era right now with psychedelics, because
We are. I agree.
right now psychedelics, they're like what marijuana was in the 90s, where it is making that jump from
Before people start doctoring up the
right.
marijuana.
So it's making that jump from like street pharmaceutical, street knowledge type stuff, to
Yeah.
actual being studied, actual credible universities and doctors, and all these people that are credible, right? That you can't dismiss their studies and their research. They're coming out with benefits of psychedelics.
And it's wild because I would have thought they would have done that before marijuana. To be like mushrooms, because you got to think about it. Because for years, and honestly, if you think about it, because I know like you can go to the dollar store right now, they have mushroom extract for brain function. They've always said something about mushrooms themselves have a brain functionality, but I mean the
Man,
mushrooms you talking about is a little bit further.
But
So
so
I think it should have been studied a long time ago.
so any hobby, anything you get into, there's so many wormholes you could dig in. You could like dive right into so many different things. When it comes to mushrooms are fucking amazing in so many ways. Like, I'm not speaking on psychedelic.
I know,
Like
I know what you mean, but you
I'm-
should have saw your face when you see this video.
because I am passionate. Like I'm authentic like a motherfucker. I am passionate about psychedelics. I am passionate about mushrooms, the benefits they could give us as human beings, to this world, to cleaning up the messes that we've done, radioactive messes, oil spills. Mushrooms could help with that. They could help with Alzheimer's. They could help with so much. Not like I said, I'm not talking about magic mushrooms, the psychedelic ones.
Because they absorb a lot of stuff from the earth and shit.
They
Yeah,
do,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Makes sense.
Mushrooms, like if you see mushrooms popping out in your garden, in your soil, that means you have great soil. That means you have
This
great.
is true. Oh, you know what else it means? You may have
Was
Smurfs.
that? I mean, that's also, you know, people.
Those
The
are the psychedelic.
genomes.
Those are the psychedelic mushrooms. When you hear la 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 la, you got the right mushrooms.
Or you may have a child just watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in the other room.
Oh, that's that's true. There's a lot of mushrooms in Snow Right in the Seven Dwarfs too, ain't there?
You know what? Like Disney has a lot of
Oh
hidden,
shit!
like sex stuff and like drug stuff in their old
Alice in Wonderland. That motherfucker was hitting
man.
that hookah pipe on a mushroom.
Like all of them. You know, Lion King,
Oh yeah.
Little Mermaid. Like you could see a lot of the stuff that was controversial. You know, back
they
then.
always snuck some shit.
No, it's not controversial. It was a conspiracy. That's what it was, right? Because you'll call it out. No, they don't do that. And now, okay, now we're talking about Disney movies. Disney movies on mushrooms are fucking amazing.
Have you seen? I asked somebody. I'm not gonna say who it is, but she knows who she is. I was asking her about mushrooms the other day. Have you seen Fantasia?
No, that just seems too boring for me.
The movie?
Yes,
the Disney movie.
Yes.
That whole movie.
With what's his name's Mickey's making the mop.
Yeah, that whole movie. That whole movie is about psychedelics and mushrooms. You gotta watch.
I may need to circle back then.
I understand. Like the cover, you see Mickey going like.
No, I've seen it,
and it looks.
I remember seeing it as a kid and thinking this is stupid
because he's throwing shit in the air and he's throwing his wand around.
Now I'm thinking like, yeah, it might make more sense when you're tripping.
I've seen it like from a kid and even as an adult. Like I understood, I like something's not right. It's a bunch of flashing colors, a bunch of hippos and tutus and pink elephants and you'll get high watching that shit. And the first time, which may be coming soon. I like doing a movie guy voice. Maybe coming soon. I may do some mushrooms, but I'm gonna watch Fantasia for the first time again on mushrooms. But nah, that's one of those movies where it's you can tell whoever made. I think that movie was strictly done. Walt Disney was high as hell, and then turned around and was like, "Oh shit, I made that."
Probably, bro. You know, like when because psychedelics they went under for the longest time, bro. Like it was so hard to find any sort of good mushrooms or acid or like good psychedelics.
No such thing as good acid.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
You're right. Battery acid because it makes your car go fast.
But I bring this up because Disney was known to like be predominant. Like when I lived in LA, everybody in the church that I went to, everybody knew it was like the inside joke that if you worked for Disney, then you were part gay. You were in the community. You were like somewhere, right? So like it was a Latino Christian church. So obviously they like looked down on this. It was like a joke, right? Making fun. Oh, you work for Disney, ha ha ha, right? But I bring that up because back when I started getting into psychedelics, it was hard. It was so hard to find psychedelics, bro. So it was like, I remember years before that, I went to Washington. It was by 2005. I went to Washington State, and everybody will come here to Phoenix and brag about how Washington's weed was better and blah blah blah, whoopty woo, right? So I'm like, okay, let me see. I'm over here in Seattle. Let me see in Tacoma. Let me see what the weed's all about. I'm asking around, and everyone's like so private about it, bro. Like, so I had to get a little racial profile, I what I did, I stood at the at this time, I don't know if they still do, but Washington had like the state-owned liquor stores where you couldn't buy liquor or anything past like a 3 point whatever percent of alcohol in the stores. You had to go to the liquor store. So I went there, I stood there, I sat there, and I waited till I saw the black homie with the Philly blunt coming off his fucking a little sweatband, bro, or his hat. Yeah,
with a do rag.
yeah, yeah. And bro, I was like, I know this motherfucker got weed for damn sure, bro. And I went there, talked to him, and sure enough, after a little wheeling and dealing, like I convinced him to sell me some. The same thing was here in Phoenix with the gay community. Like I had to get like, okay, well, this dude looks pretty, pretty flaming hot here. Let me see if the homeboy got some mushrooms or, he could get some acid or something. It was mainly mushroom at that time. I didn't get into acid until later on, um, because everyone's like, oh, yeah, mushrooms are nature, it's organic, it's blah, blah, acid is chemicals and this and that.
Well, it's
And
called acid, so I can imagine, yeah.
But now I'm not a scientist. I can't even start to tell you what compounds are in acid and whatnot.
Oh, I can.
But
It's ceruleum, barium, hydro. I don't fucking know.
Exactly. But on the high basis, like
I got one of those right somewhere.
They are acid and mushrooms have a very similar but different type of experience. With mushrooms, I feel like when I take mushrooms, the mushrooms are gonna grab me by my hand and be like, "We're gonna go for a ride," right? When I do acid, I feel like acid is like, "Here's the keys, let's go for a ride." So like with acid, I could control it better. With mushrooms, they're gonna show me something, whether good or bad, whether I like it or not. We're gonna go there, and the reason earlier when we started, I said a bad trip with air quotes is because there's no such thing as a bad trip.
Use a motherfucking lie.
There's no such thing as a bad trip. You know what a bad trip is? From what I've learned, my experiences.
When you go to the Philippines,
a
and you
bad
find out
trip.
it's not a man.
A bad trip was the medicine showing you, bringing something up that you were hiding, that you were gonna deal with later and all that. But they're like, we're gonna deal with this right now. So whether it's a breakup, whether it's how your parents treated you, or whatever fucked up shit may have happened to you that you don't talk about much or whatnot, something in that day triggered that. So when you took the medicine's like, yeah, we're gonna take care of this. Now, those 6-8 hours fucking suck. But when you wake up the next day, you wake up like, whoa, I feel like so much weight is lifted off my shoulders. I feel like, I don't know why, I'm just so happy. My step feels so much lighter. And all I did was pass out crying because I wanted a fucking mushroom trip to stop. But when I woke up, like, holy, but like,
you're 50. You know what? You are correct. You're 50-50, and the only 50% that you're not accurate on is because there's a caveat on my experience. You are 100% correct, because I was having a good time until I started thinking about some shit. That shit came right the fuck out. It came right the fuck out. I was talking about, oh man, I went and cried to my mom. So, about to talk about my bad acid trip. Excuse me, my awakening acid trip. I remember, this shit's so fucking funny. I took one hit on a sweet tart tab, whatever. And I took it, I was already drunk and shit. I took it, didn't feel nothing. I was like, I don't feel nothing. And the dude was like, well, I'll sell you another one half price. I was like, well, sell me another one then. Took it, didn't feel nothing. Then I was just riding it out. Next thing you know, I blacked out. I remember blacking out. I remember significantly blacking out. Lost my wallet, lost everything. I remember going home and laying in bed and looking at the ceiling and seeing bears and tigers going through the ceiling. I was like, holy shit. I was like, this is not right. This is that part of the awakening part. I was like, I got something on my mind. I ran into my mama's room. I was like, hey, Mom. I was smiling. She said, what's wrong? She said, I know something's wrong. What's wrong? I said, yeah. This ball started crying. I was like, I tried to kill myself when I was 14. I was suicidal. And I just poured all my heart out for like an hour. And then was like, I'm going to bed now. And went to sleep. Now, this is the part where I say you was wrong about it. I didn't feel better the next morning. I had a 3-day hangover. My experience was a little bit different because also I had just twisted my ankle from basketball. So I was also taking like painkillers. So it's not always the asphalt. I was taking painkillers, and so I was like really just screwed up. And so I had like a 3 day hangover. My eyes were bloodshot red. I could barely walk. But I do remember feeling a little bit better about myself, and I had a little bit more confidence.
Mhm.
Because I remember a coach stopping me. I'll never forget this shit. And it's funny because I haven't told the story in probably way over 20 years. A coach stopped me cause we went to a basketball game. And, I was supposed to be playing, but I was hurt, whatever. Um, Went to a basketball game. He was like, "Hey, Lakey, so are you going to high jump for us this year?" Because I jumped 6'10" in the high jump. He's like, "You gonna jump high jump?" I like, "Coach, I'm injured." He's like, "Oh, well, we can get you back right." I like, "Can you get me into a D1 school?" He's like, "Nah, we can get you into JUCO." I like, "I've already been sent to a D1 school, so I don't need to talk to you." And I walked off. Excuse me, I limped off. And I thought to myself, I'm like, man, did you just tell that coach to fuck himself without saying fuck himself? So I did have a heightened state of awareness of who I was, because I was like, I'm not letting nobody take me through the ringer, goddamn it. And I was, maybe I should do psychedelics. Don't condone anything I'm saying right now. I just want to do the movie voice. But but no, that's funny you say that, because I didn't think about it, but I did go through those emotions, and it did bring whatever was on my mind at that moment. The way I was feeling, it brought all that shit out, and I was depressed. I was very, and I don't hide the shit, especially since I'm older now. I don't hide it. I'm still manic depressing, and I was severely manic depressing back then, and it all because I was known for not even keeping a smile on my face, just joking about shit, having fun joking about shit. But it was at that moment where I really didn't want to joke about shit, and I was around people and couldn't escape because I didn't drive. So all that shit was just pent up. And as soon as I got home, that shit popped the fuck out. Because the first 2 times, allegedly, I did acid, I didn't feel like that. I felt great.
And here's, I'm glad you brought that up because there is a big difference when you approach the medicine to party and when you approach it with proper respect
Yeah,
to learn something about yourself, to heal, and
that makes sense.
just have a different energy, different aspect for it. And I've throughout my research and stuff, I've came to realize like Americans, we use weed. We misuse weed like that. We disrespect weed because we overuse it because it was a party drug. It was so illegal. It was like
The end thing.
yeah,
Like alcohol used to
the
be.
forbidden fruit. That you know what I want that fruit now.
Yeah.
Just because you told me I can't have it, now I fucking want it even more. And they gave it that forbidden fruit aspect, so we
Taboo.
partied it. The same thing with psychedelics. Now, the beauty of psychedelics is that it's been going on for so many fucking years, bro. Before the Western world westernized everything and made drugs illegal everywhere, um, there's I guess proof or evidence or however you want to call it. There's research coming out that your biggest religions were brought up through psychedelics. Like the
Yeah.
biggest stories in the Bible
Because
have
opioids.
no psychedelic.
No, it's like even opioids. I'm saying even opioids before the Western world started abusing them.
And
Yeah.
the reason I don't talk about opioids is because the Western world doesn't try to claim we're opioid nation, but they do try to claim we're a Christian nation, right? With all the Christians looking down on all the potheads, all the hippies, which
Yeah.
hippie was another word that they used just to criminalize people that were questioning the war
The wars. Yeah.
because they were being awoken by the medicine. They weren't rioting. They weren't doing nothing. They weren't killing fucking presidents or speakers or nothing. No, they were just
There was no money in it.
yeah, they were like, dude, there's no reason to go to war, to lose our brothers and sisters over your bullshit, your lies, because the reason we were at Vietnam was a lie. The reason we went to Korea was a fucking lie.
Oh, you
The
all know.
reason, so I mean, the story goes on and on. Long story short, with psychedelics,
Oh, because I got irritated about that one, but
but with psychedelics, we were brought up to minimize the power of them. Now that research is coming out, and on top of that, like the research from here, but the research from the world. Hey, how did mushrooms get popularized here in the U.S.? How did LSD? Why was the CIA fucking conducting LSD experiments? Why were they fucking taking out Manson? Every time he did something wrong, and providing him with LSD. Like there's a lot of stuff, right, that's out there.
even
But
like the so-called quote unquote mental patients, they was doing LSD and
mhm,
mushroom tests
but
and all that shit on.
my point is that they didn't respect they didn't give the medicine the proper respect. They didn't approach it the right way. Now when you do approach it the right way, you start feeling that, you start like that healing maximizes. That healing is just like you notice it a lot more. You notice what the medicine is doing inside of you, because now you're focused on that a lot more than just, hey, fuck yeah, bro, let's have a beer to party, let's smoke a
Yeah.
joint to party, let's drop some fucking acid to party and stuff. Now you're like, you know what, let me learn something about myself tonight. You know, tonight's a great night. I've been going through whatever. Tonight's a great night to, what, let's just clear everything out. Let's take this trip and really talk to myself and see where we want to go in life. Not where everybody else wants me to go, but where I want to go in life. Where do I want to be, right? Like, to me, it's funny when another comic tries to put me down and tells me, you don't even get booked. You don't, who books you? And I'm just like, I'm not, like, in my mind, right? Because it's not even worth responding to. It's like, my mind's like, I'm not even trying to get booked. Like,
Well, how,
that's not even a put down for me,
yeah,
Like,
I was like,
yeah, like
because I'm not
I'm in a different
trying
route,
to.
like I'm in a
I
different
book
route. I'm
myself.
Yeah, like, why would that be a put down for me? However, for them, because that's where they're at, right? That's their goals. They feel like, oh, that's a put down.
They're trying to keep up with the comedy Joneses.
But at the end of the day, my awakening is like, I've been there. I don't want to do that. That's not where I want to take my life. I see how I can positively impact people's life with psychedelic events. One of the big ones is a psychedelic comedy show that is catered not for the comics, but is catered for people that enjoy psychedelics, want to be around like-minded people in an environment, a safe environment, and enjoy it. Now, the reason that is my favorite one, and there's a lot of rumors out there, which I don't really care. Y'all could think and believe whatever you want. Anyone out there saying I stole someone's show, don't know shit. I know you guys are ignorant. Do your research. I could point out why that's not even an original show, and I could also point out why and how I differentiate myself from all that. Best of luck to whoever out there is doing whatever they're doing. I'm not someone who's going to try to take fucking money or food out of people's mouth, but I am someone that's going to follow my heart. And when I see something that makes sense to me and I see the ability to change people's life in a positive way, you could call me whatever the fuck you want. I'm still going to do whatever the fuck I feel like doing. Why? Because my heart, the medicine, is telling me this is what I need to do. This is what, or part of the reason why we're here in this fucking world to do. And I'm going to do it. The reason why the comedy show is very important is because it's like a healing times 10, right?
Correct.
Comedy's healing.
Yes, I agree.
When you're on psychedelics, that comedy show, that whatever people are expressing just maximizes, and it just ignites the room. Like, because without psychedelics, laughter's contagious.
Correct. Very
Psychedelics allow you to laugh and relax and be that high school, junior high, goofy ass motherfucker that you've always been inside. That you every time you
Ooh-wee.
laugh, you really laugh. That motherfucker comes out, right? But when you're in a club or you're whatever, you can't really laugh that
Fuck no.
loud. You know,
You
you
know,
gotta.
I've always hated that. This
I,
one,
I know, but it's like the
and you know
proper
me.
way to fucking
You
act,
know me.
right?
But
You
you know
can't
me,
be
and you
that
know what?
loud and.
You know, I'm about before we close out. I'm gonna bring this up. You know me. When I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna fucking
Mhm.
laugh. I can't do it now because after the accident, I don't have the lung power. But I have, I got a high pitched hyena laugh. But let
You
me,
got to get one of those horns out. Ding, ding, ding,
nah,
ding. Just
fuck
so we
no,
know you're laughing.
fuck no. You just see me going. You see me going like this. You know. But before we go, I'm glad that this topic came across about me laughing and you saying. So he was talking about how the high school kid where we could laugh and didn't feel judged and everything else, and how people nowadays be in the comedy club, they act like they can't laugh at jokes, they can't laugh at situations. My boy John P was on stage. He was on stage one night. What was the name? It doesn't matter the name of the club. We're not gonna say the name of the club. But this is an example how I never gave a fuck. If I think something's funny, I'm gonna laugh, and I respect the artistry of comedy. He said something so funny, I can't remember what it was, but I started laughing. I jumped up and I shitted on myself. The joke was so funny. All you heard was ha ha ha. Oh shit! And I didn't even go around the back towards the door. I walked straight off the side of the stage. Like I jumped like halfway across the stage and went out the side curtain just so I can get to the bathroom and throw my damn shorts away. But that's the kind of shit he's talking about. So with that being said, everybody go out. I'm not even saying go to a comedy show. Go out or stay in your house and be a kid again. Laugh again. Have fun again. It doesn't matter who's around you. Just have fun. And if you have kids, laugh around your kids because your kids are going to learn how to laugh and love. With that being said, my name is Repo Lakey. I've been with my boy John Ponciano, and this has been another episode of Parts and Unfiltered, where the wheels stop and the conversation starts, and there's so much more, and I'm about to do some psychedelics. Y'all take it easy.